Wow, 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 wow. Pep Guardiola is back with new tactics. Pep Guardiola is trying to implement a new thing this season. Leaving positions, leaving all those stuff. Today, we're gonna expose Pep Guardiola. Let's go! Since the beginning of the season, we saw that Guardiola leaving his philosophy. No, I'm not gonna say that he's leaving his philosophy. He's actually adapting new philosophy, which is playing vertical, being direct to the opponent's goal. He was being direct this season mostly, not only in this game, but with other games as well, such as against Manchester United, when he gave the position to Omarim and he played with quick transitions. Today he tried to implement almost the same thing, but not the same thing at the same time, if that makes sense. We saw in today's game that Bournemouth, they were very aggressive, especially at the beginning when they implemented high press and tried to score a goal. But fortunately for Manchester City, it was an offside goal. But after that, we saw Pep Guardiola, how he absorbed the high press from Bournemouth. And he was able to control the game and control the rhythm at the same time. But with being more direct. This is the highlight of Pep Guardiola this season. He's being a versatile, adapting different formations and different tactical methods. And today we saw that was the root of the winning, when he adapted a vertical approach. With 3 touches, he was able to score 2 goals. And today we're gonna dive more tactically with his approach, with the tactical board right now. Bournemouth would represent the red chips and Manchester City would represent the blue chips. Bournemouth started the formation with 4-2-3-1 and Manchester City started with 4-1-4-1. Pep Guardiola utilized different formation through different phases of the game. But during position at the start, he tried to build up from the back through Gvardiol and Diaz at the same time. As we know that Donnarumma, he's not really good with his foot. As well as in the midfield, he tried to utilize Cherki during the build-up. At the same time, he tried to utilize Bernardo Silva. We know that on the papers, Bernardo Silva was supposed to be as a right flank, but we saw that there was an interchange between Cherki and Bernardo and Foden in this spot. Even though we saw that Doku, he doesn't stay in the left flank all the time. We would see him sometimes join these 3 midfielders and play behind Haaland. Sometimes we would see that Orjoli is gonna take the left flank and in the back you would see Niko Gonzalez plays as a third defender. Pep Guardiola, during the progression, his formation changes to 3-2-4-1. So we would see that Pep Guardiola drops Niko Gonzalez between the defenders. You would see next to him Diaz, and on the left side you'd see Gvardiol as a double pivot, Bernardo Silva and Cherki. And sometimes we would see that Cherki and Foden, they would switch. And sometimes Nunez, instead of him opening the right flank, you'd see him switching, coming to the midfield, playing next to Bernardo Silva, and Rayan Cherki would play on the right flanks. During this phase, if Rayan Cherki on the right flank, he would try to play one-on-one on the left back of Bournemouth. And as we know that Rayan Cherki has the individual skills. And sometimes I noticed in this game especially, would see Doku plays on the right flank as well. Especially in the first half, We saw that, we noticed that Pep Guardiola tried to create overload on the right flank, probably most likely because the left back of Bournemouth, he's a little bit weaker than the right back of the Bournemouth. Pep Guardiola tried to exploit the compact defense of Bournemouth through the individual skills, as we saw in minute 28 when Doku tried to utilize his individual skills on the tight spaces, and he was able to do so. And we saw that Pep Guardiola in the final third tried to give freedom to Doku and Foden, as well as Rayan Cherki, because those three players, they could make the difference, and they're highly talented players. And Bournemouth coach was very smart. He tried to face this Manchester City storm during the final third with 5-3-2. And we saw that Manchester City, yes, they scored 3 goals, but all the 3 goals were through quick transitions. And that's where Manchester City's strength came in this game. What I liked about Pep this season, his versatility whenever he loses the ball. Today we saw that Niko Gonzalez, he was actually an orchestra in the midfield. He reminded me of Rodri, and actually he's taking his place sometime soon. I'm not saying that Nico Gonzalez is same as Rodri, but he's getting there. With time, he's gonna get there. And we saw him perform an amazing game today, able to give a pre-assist in the first goal. During the mid-block, you would see him alongside with Bernardo Silva, and right in front of them would be either Cherki or Foden. And we saw there's a lot of interchanging between these players. At the front, of course, Haaland, and on the left flank, Doku. But what I've noticed, whenever Bournemouth players have the ball, you would see the high press. They wouldn't leave it until they recover it. We could see that in minute 12:40 when they were structured like this. 4-3-3, and they were coming back as fast as they can. And last thing I want to add with Manchester City this season, you see there's a lot of age mixing. You see the young players as well as the expert players. And Pep Guardiola, clearly this is his team, and this is the new team that Pep Guardiola tries to create. We try to show some of Pep Guardiola's idea on the tactical board. If you're watching till now, before getting more into details, please give us a like and subscribe. That would help us a lot. Now let's dive more into the game. As we mentioned earlier, from the get-go that Bournemouth wanted to score, and they implemented the high press, and we saw them that as well. They're keeping their back safe with 5-3-2. As well as, but after the offside goal, Pep Guardiola wasn't quite. He tried to show his persona, and that was obvious. In minute 3:52, we saw Doku how he underlapped with O'Reilly, and they were able to create some chaos there. We saw the underlaps, and at the same time, we saw the aggression from Erling Haaland. We saw that in minute 5:32. Pep Guardiola trying to build up from the back, and there was a successful build up with 3 defenders and 2 players right in front of them, as we demonstrated on the tactical board. But this build up was successful, and we saw how direct it was, but unfortunately this chance wasn't translated to a goal. At minute 16, Haaland was able to translate a beautiful assist from Rayan Cherki, and scored an amazing goal. When Haaland goes 1 versus 1 with the keeper, he doesn't miss it. But I want to stop here for a sec. Niko Gonzalez, the pre-assist, the calmness when he had the ball and he looked at Rayan Cherki and he gave him an amazing chip pass. And Rayan Cherki, he was a visionary at this moment, and he was able to give an amazing assist, astonishing assist to Erling Haaland, and Erling Haaland didn't miss the chance, and he scored a beautiful goal. A few minutes later, Bournemouth showed us why they were on the top 4 this season. They were able to utilize Donnarumma's mistake. And this Donnarumma, the easy shots or the easy attempts, it's hard for him to deal with. And the impossible attempts to save, it's easy for him to save it. This guy, I don't understand him. But one mistake doesn't erase everything. Because Manchester City, they were able to score the second goal again from Erling Haaland. And who assisted this goal other than Rayan Cherki? This guy, if he stays away from injuries, he's gonna be the key player for Pep Guardiola in this squad. A few minutes later, Manchester City had the chance as well to score the third goal. But unfortunately, O'Reilly wasn't able to score it and missed the chance. But here again, I'm gonna stop. Who was behind the pre-assist? Again, Nico González. Nico González, definitely he's gonna be the upcoming Rodri in Manchester City's midfield. Because I heard rumors that Real Madrid is looking for Rodri, but I don't know if it's gonna happen or not. But now let's get back to the game. Manchester City tried to keep the rhythm low and sometimes try to defend with a low block, 5 defenders, and he would see the formation 5-3-2, where Nico González again helps the defenders and drops out between the 2 center back. Manchester City, after scoring the third goal from O'Reilly, you feel like they started controlling the rhythm, as well as you would see them trying to adapt with Bournemouth style as well. They would play with a low block, as we saw in minute 73, as well as we saw that Pep Guardiola started thinking about Champions League, just to give this squad a rest a little bit, and we saw him how he dealt with the last few minutes with stability and eliminating any danger. Before ending the video, I want to highlight some players such as Haaland. Haaland was a machine. He was able to score 2 goals today. And just for your information, he scored more than 60% of Manchester City's goals this season. Is it a good thing? Or it's a bad thing for Manchester City? But I think what Pep should do is to prepare other players to score. You have Omar Marmoush and you have Doku and other players. They should get into the system and start scoring beside Haaland. Rayan Cherki proved that he's a top talent. We saw that he provided 2 amazing assists to Haaland in an easy way. And the other thing I want to say, this guy makes Manchester City plays easy with one pass. With one pass, you see Haaland is alone facing the goalie. And the third player I want to mention is Nico González. Nico González this season showed that why Manchester City paid 60 million euro just to get him from Porto. And we know this guy, he used to play at Barcelona, but Xavi, he wasn't convinced with him. So Barcelona, look, you lost a player from La Masia. He's performing at the top level with Manchester City in the Premier League. I can't end this video before getting to Phil Foden. Phil Foden, the missing piece last year. We saw that how Pep Guardiola struggled when he wasn't there. But in this season, and give the stability to the squad, as well as give a depth in the squad. But at the end of the video. Tell me if this is the new Pep Guardiola. If you like his tactical approach, probably he forgot about the position and tiki-taka, but he didn't forget how to win. At the end of the video, please give us a like and subscribe, and peace!